Hello, everyone, and welcome to Alternative. This is episode 11 of the Alternative podcast, and we have quite a show today. But before we get started, obviously I'm here with Aron. I just wanted to go on a bit about something I've been looking at recently called slow living. Have you heard of it?
I haven't, no.
Ah, right, okay. So basically, it's a way of living. The way everyone lives at the moment is stress-filled, it's rapid, dopamine. It's sort of what social media gives us, dopamine, fast spinning and scrolling. So you apply that into your real sort of your normal life. So everything you do then has to be fast and quick, and quickly do that, quickly do this. And I think I've said it to you before where you spend so much time planning what you need to do. When you do it so fast that you move on to the next thing. You actually don't embrace anything that you ever do. So slow living is about not necessarily slowing down everything you do in life, but just being a bit more conscious about where you choose to apply speed and where you choose to slow things back down. But obviously, I think one of the main areas to slow down is in my work life, because I think there's just most companies always expect things to be done ASAP. Oh, send me this ASAP, send me that ASAP. Because I'm sort of self-employed, I have the ability to slow things down and say, actually, I'm not going to reply to that email yet. I'm going to reply to it like tomorrow because I'm in the middle of doing something. And then just taking the time to just breathe and go for it. But the reason I'm looking into slow living is because I've been sort of, as a hobby, I'm into photography quite a bit. What I noticed because I went to Lincoln over the weekend is we went on these walks around town, and because I had my camera on me, I was slowing down to take photos of everything, and I was actually embracing what was around me. But if I didn't have my camera, I would probably just have a quick look around everything and zoom off to the next part. So that's what made me start thinking. So I started looking into it, and then I found out it's called slow living, and it's about just certain points of your life, just slow down and embrace what you're living in, rather than rushing. Because we're in the information age. Definitely with the stuff we're looking into with Alternative, we're always, what's the next thing? What's happening there? What's happening with the war in Russia? What's happening with the next Prime Minister of England? What's happening with the next president? It's about just slowing down and not necessarily just not looking into them things, but actually just thinking about things for a bit. And then just to add on as well, it made me think what we're actually doing with book club is a good thing, because we're reading one book a month and analysing that book and taking our time with it. Whereas I know a lot of people are sort of saying, oh, I've read 600 books this year or 500 books this year, when it's not actually about doing that. It's about just slowing down and embracing what you're doing at that moment.
Yeah, no, that's it. You raised a good point about photography, because obviously you gave me our old camera and I've recently got into it as well. And when me and Emma went on holiday, usually when we go places, like we literally just storm through it and say, oh, we've done it now. But because I had the camera, it was taking a lot longer because I was taking pictures. And so, yeah, you just take in that moment a lot more. And I never thought of it actually until you mentioned it. Like we went to the Acropolis in Lindos, and usually if we went somewhere like that on holiday, we'd probably be in and out within half an hour.
Yeah. That's happened to me so many times.
Yeah, but this time we went and we were there for about an hour and a half, just because we were taking pictures and so just enjoying the moment a lot more.
Yeah,
it's good way to think, because I think a lot of my life I'm always like, right, when's the next thing? Like,
which just breeds anxiety within yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, it comes down to what I've probably said on 7 of the last 10 podcasts that we've done. It comes down to sort of like finding balance. So you do need to rush at certain points in your life, or else you won't get anywhere. You won't progress anywhere. But then at the same time, I think when I was looking into it, someone was saying one of the main things people say when they're on their deathbed and when they're older is things like, well, I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I didn't rush. I wish I'd have slowed down. So I think that's where this slow living sort of evolved from. Is
Yeah, well, as well when you talk about it, remind me of I don't know if you've seen James May's new thing on Amazon where he goes around Italy.
no, I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
Yeah, basically, I forgot what the phrase is, but there's some phrase in Italian which basically means, I think it means something like enjoy the nicer things in life or something like that. And
Yeah.
basically, I only watched the first episode, but from what he's trying to find the meaning of it, like the actual meaning. So he's going to all these different places to try and figure it out.
Oh, the whole series is based on this phrase, this quote.
Yeah, based on this phrase. Yeah. So I've only watched the first episode, and he was in like a fishing village, and they went out fishing during the day, and then in the evening they all sat down and ate the fish and just had like glasses of wine. And from that episode, I think what I got the meaning for that phrase is like to enjoy like the smaller things in life, and just sometimes just it doesn't have to be about progressing up the career ladder or progressing anywhere else in your life. Sometimes your life's fine as it is, and just enjoy that moment.
Yeah, and it comes to gratitude then, doesn't it? And being grateful for what you have already.
Yeah.
Because it's things like I was saying with Kate the other day. I was like, I've not sat down and watched because we watched a movie the other day, and I really enjoyed it. And I was proper into my films for a while, but weeks went past where I hadn't properly sat down and enjoyed a film. And I watched one, and I was like, it just felt so good just to switch off and just sit down, relax, and just watch.
Yeah. What film was it?
The Guilty on Netflix.
All right. What's it about?
So, do you know the actor Jake? I might butcher his name, second name, Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal? Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm going to go with.
No.
Oh, you don't know him? Jake Gyllenhaal? Or he might, he's one of them.
Just snap off of him. Might know him by face.
Yeah, you'll definitely know him by. I hope you know him by face.
I do recognise him.
Oh, you
I
recognise him.
can't put my finger on what movies he's in now.
Oh, he's one of. I would say he's one of my favourite actors at the moment. Like with the stuff he's come out with. So, Nightcrawler is really good. In Nightcrawler, he's a what's it called?
Oh, The Guilty. Yeah, I've not watched it, but Emma was watching it, and it was on. I think I was working while she was watching it. So I watched bits of it. It's when he works for emergency services.
Yes. So, are you going to watch it, or do you not care?
I've already seen the ending and seen like bits. So there's no.
All right, because the twist in it is insane. But yeah, it's similar to what I resembled it to the most is Reservoir Dogs, because that's all in one warehouse.
Yeah.
Most of it. This is all in one office because he's 911 operator.
Yeah.
But he gets attached to one of the phone calls because he's a detective demoted to that, like he's on suspension. Or
Yeah, he did something wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But because he's detective in himself, he got attached to one of them, and then the whole film is based on his phone calls, and you get proper attached to these people that are just on the other end of his phone.
Yeah. Because I remember watching it, I was thinking, oh, this looks like a good movie.
Yeah.
But
watch Jake Gyllenhaal. Nightcrawler's good. He's he's not, I won't call it paparazzi. Like do you know when you just take videos of shit and sell it to media companies?
Oh yeah.
He gets like addicted to in these videos.
Oh, okay.
Addicted to them. Do you know these crime scene videos? I would recommend to watch that because it's the evolution of him in that, because he's chasing the thrill of it all and the shit he goes through to get these sick videos.
When did it come out?
2014, that one. Nightcrawler.
All right. I'll give that a watch. Is that on Netflix?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so that's why there was a few things. There was that happened, and then obviously I went away and was taking photos, and I was like, we spent ages just in this one little square where there was the cathedral there, and we spent ages there, and I was like, do you know what? It was like a square. It's a nice place, Lincoln. So it was in the middle of like some crossroad walkways. There was a pub with outdoor seating. I was like, should we just get a drink there and just sit there, just watch people? This thought, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's a good way to think, I think. Like, a lot of the time, yeah, in our day-to-day lives, we're just rushing around. Especially,
Yeah.
like, I've noticed it a lot living in London, just
Mm.
how fast everything is.
Yeah, actually, I don't mean to dig down on London because you live there, but I've always said that I don't like London because people are just fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. And this is
Everyone's
sort
trying
of
to
the
get to
reason
work rapid.
I want to move back up north, because it's just
Yeah.
too. Because I remember I used to walk to the tube station, and if the tube was more than 4 minutes away, I used to think, like, what the fuck, why is the tube so far away? Like, what's going on?
Mm.
But how weird's that?
Yeah. 4 minutes.
Yeah, such a weird mentality.
That's a proper London mentality, isn't it? Central London mentality.
So it was like 5 minutes away. You're like, what? Because you used to. I was used to going and seeing it only being like 3 minutes away,
Yeah.
or less. Like, but
And then there's other things as well. There's like when you're waiting for something, say you're waiting for someone, you don't have to go on your phone. You can just sit there and think
yeah.
or observe things around you or people watch or
Mm.
you don't have to just go straight to Instagram or
But they say that because of people aren't bored anymore because they've got phones on them all
Yeah.
the time. So whereas when you used to like go to the doctors or be waiting for something, before you just sit there and think and just watch people, and you sort of come up with ideas in your head and make like that creativity is not being utilized anymore because people aren't bored anymore because you just pick up the phone and go on Instagram or TikTok or something.
yeah.
They've got the headphones in and listen to music.
Yeah. There's always a distraction to distract you from the real world, like your real life.
I remember when I used to drive to work, I used to sometimes just drive with no music on.
Yeah. I remember you say to me, because every time I get in the car, I have to have music on. No music, I'm like, fucking put music on. I don't know what it is. Must be that. It's that feeling, isn't it, of not having something on.
Yeah, I never got it in the car. Like, I'd like sometimes just not listen to music. Emma's like that, where she's just like, God, why have you got no music on? Put the music on. Well, it's all right to sit in silence sometimes.
And then, like, when I'm working, I'm always like, oh, shit, I need to put podcast on. But then, last couple of times, I've just thought, I'll put some classic jazz on or something and just do my work to that. Well, yeah, slow living. It's a new thing I'm looking into.
Yeah, I'll have a look into it a bit more as well.
Just about implementing these little things into your life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being more observant of these things.
Yeah, I think it's just about being aware of stuff. So.
Right. Shall we get cracking?
Yeah, I think we've got some juicy topics today.
Yeah. We'll start with this one because there's a few different things that we need to talk about with this. So it's just a nice piece of information, I guess. Putin grants Russian citizenship to US whistleblower Edward Snowden. So I was quite shocked when I read this, to be honest. So yeah, he signed on Monday, granting Russian. So yesterday, well, we're recording this on Tuesday, so it's yesterday. Citizenship to Edward Snowden. So he's
So he can come out of hiding now.
Well, he was in Russia anyway, wasn't he? Was he not in?
Was he hiding when he was in Russia, or was he just walking freely?
I'm not too sure actually. But it was known that he was in Russia.
Yeah. Was it? So the US can't really touch him now unless he goes to a US country, to the US, or maybe a NATO country.
I'm not too sure how it works with that. But yeah, there'll be certain places he won't be able to step foot in because of the power that the US have. 2020, for applying. Oh, they applied for Russian citizenship in 2020. That's how it's sort of known. And he granted him permanent residency, paving the way for him to get a Russian citizenship.
Oh, okay.
It was already sort of set.
Yeah, he mustn't have been in hiding then. He probably just like living his life out there.
Yeah. But I just thought it was kind of set in stone and that he was going to get Russian citizenship, but it just came at a bit of a funny time with what's going on with Russia at the moment for him to grant citizenship.
Yeah, it's probably a bit of a statement from
Putin.
Putin as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, over the last, I wouldn't even say week, over the last maybe 3 days, shit's hit the fan with. I feel like shit's hit the fan with Putin, US. I don't think we've really spoke about the war too much, but I think now's a good time to actually address.
Well, today they've been voting, haven't they? The Ukrainian annexed areas in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Whether you want to be part of Russia or not.
Apparently, well, it's supposedly it's just a rigged referendum anyway. It's only going to go one way.
Yeah, like we know, obviously we're getting propaganda and they're being propagandized as well, so we don't know what the actual truth is. Obviously our media is saying it's all just rigged.
Yeah.
And obviously Russian media is not going to say that. So I don't know.
There's no winning in that situation.
Yeah, well, the last time I read, let me just check the figures. I think it said like over 90% voted to be part of Russia.
Yeah.
But it's not been fully counted yet. This was like some partial figures.
It'll be counted by the end of today, though, won't it?
Yeah, by the end of today, I think.
Yeah.
I guess it's like 97%. Shall I share this? Can I screen share?
Yeah.
Yes, can you say 97% from the I don't know how you pronounce that, Kherson region, 98% from, I'm not going to pronounce that.
Go on.
Zaporozhye.
Exactly.
98 from Donetsk People's Republic.
Donetsk.
Is it Donetsk?
I think so. It's a footy team, I think.
Oh, 98% from Luhansk People's Republic. So they're quite high figures that are being released. Apologies for butchering it.
What was that? BBC?
Yeah, on BBC.
Yeah. Is that what you're saying though? What can you actually believe now in today's day?
Yeah, well, this is saying Russian. So BBC put that out there and said Russian state media have announced the first results of the so-called referendums.
It's a shit show. Definitely after his speech, it's a shit show. Did you listen to Jordan Peterson on Piers Morgan?
No, I need to listen to it now.
Do you know one? He said a lot, but the one statement he said, it was unredacted as well, so you might have seen it on there. When he said, "How can we win a war against someone that we can't say no to?"
Yeah,
He got us. He got everyone in his back pocket.
Yeah, you can't say no to like what you can't say no to him.
No, there's. What
You've already said no to him, and it's not works.
Send everyone log burners to heat the properties up. That's the only way. But that natural gas is required. For everyone. It's gonna be a fucking cold winter, man.
Because apparently people in Germany have been collecting wood, like chopping down trees.
Oh yeah. I've heard that. I think you might tell me that.
So, but as like I was talking a little bit before the podcast, that really you listen to that. Well, we both listened to the redacted episode.
Yeah,
it was live last night, right? And
they're live every day, Monday to Friday.
Yeah, and then it's like it feels like what has been happening with the Great Reset, and it feels like it's getting real now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it brings it to the Great Reset as well. I feel like I don't have any proof or anything, but I feel like obviously Germany was going up in the world, and I feel like US have allowed this to happen to. I can't even say the West anymore because I think it's primarily the US and the UK.
I think Germany have backed themselves, and the Europe have backed ourselves into this mess.
Mm.
And what are your thoughts on Putin? Do you think he's part of the WEF, or do you think he's ditched it?
It could be either. It would make sense at this moment in time. It makes sense if he is part of the WEF, because I think the US know what they're doing with this crisis that's being caused. And then it's stuff like, but then at the same time, you can see if he's not, because he would act the same way if he wasn't part of the WEF. So if we're saying, right, if he's part of the WEF, that means he's got we're basically saying that he's connected. This is all connected to the US. If that's what we're saying, if he's part of WEF, not US in terms of government, US in terms of the elites.
Yeah. Well, the Western elites, aren't they?
Yeah, the Western elites, yeah, because they're the ones that, once the Great Reset is in full force, they're the ones who are going to be running shit, not who's in charge right now. But either way, either he's in there or he's not in there, he'll still be doing the same thing, because if he's not in there, he'll be trying to. But I think even if he's not in the WEF, he's still got enough knowledge from being tied to the WEF that he can do this at this point in time, and America won't do anything because we can't say no to him.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen is we're going to go through a hard winter, and then Europe are going to just going to allow Putin to take over what he wants.
But then it's scary, because what if it's not just Ukraine? He doesn't stop at Ukraine, he just keeps going. Then it's another Hitler job.
But I was listening to Jordan Peterson talk about this, and he was saying the media are comparing him to Hitler, but he's not like Hitler. In a sense, he's more reasonable than Hitler was.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I'm 100% clued up on it all to have a full-on opinion yet.
I don't think it's possible to be 100% clued up on it, because there's so many gaps.
Yeah. But sometimes, you can feel like you're clued up enough to try and decipher it all yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm at that stage yet. There's a lot of stuff that I'm still trying to decipher in my head and work it out. So rather than me sort of comment on it, like what I'm thinking now, I'd rather actually know what I try and figure it out before I talk about it properly.
Yeah. But one thing I can probably comment on, and I know you can comment on it probably even more than me, is most of the shit that's going on in the world right now, and we don't know if Putin's part of the WEF, but most of the other shit that's going on is all pointing towards the Great Reset happening very, very soon, a lot sooner than anyone could have anticipated.
Yeah, well, we're seeing the economy's being pretty much dismantled.
Yeah, it's getting its fucking head ripped off.
Controlled demolition of the economy.
Yeah, that's a more polite way of saying it.
Yeah, and then we're seeing all these farmers protesting in Sri Lanka, in India, in Holland.
Yeah.
Holland's the second largest food supplier around the world.
Yeah. Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that from only such a small country.
Well, it's because of how much farmland they have there.
Yeah, and I think that they mainly export cattle and beef and pork, I think. And obviously on the World Economic WEF agenda is to reduce the amount of meat everybody's eating.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to go for them first.
Yeah. But then Mr. Bill Gates has been buying up farmland in the US for ages.
Yeah.
Farmland's being bought. Everyone's unemployed.
Well, unemployment's not that high at the moment.
Well,
that's
we're
why
going into it.
The way it's going to go is unemployment will start to kick in.
Yeah.
You'll probably start seeing that in the next 6 months.
Yeah. What day does it say? 27th of September 2022.
Yeah.
If we come back to this at 27th September 2023 and have this a conversation, this world will be looking completely different to how it is today.
Yeah. Well, think about the 27th of September last year.
What was it last year?
I'm just saying, like, how much has changed already this year.
Yeah. Yeah. To where we are right now.
And I feel like every year there just seems to be crazy amounts of change.
Yeah.
Like, we came out of the pandemic, like, I'd say properly in March this year. Like, there's pretty much no more lockdowns after that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we came out, I think 2 weeks later, Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was in the gym, and then the guy who owns it was like, "Oh, have you seen what happened?" Because it happened like early morning, didn't it? Our time.
Was we not on a call when we were looking at? I don't think it was a podcast. I think we were just on a call with Jack. Do you remember? And we was getting up, and I was getting up the screen share and showing you how. I think we're just having a meeting. And
No, I think it was a podcast.
And I was screen sharing all the tanks lining up for invasion. Do you remember?
Yeah, was
It
Jack
was that night. Jattin was in the call. I don't know.
But it didn't happen at that point. It happened the morning after, right?
Yeah, it was that night.
Yeah.
So after we went to sleep, we woke up and it started.
As that was going on, Biden was basically saying that they're not going to attack. They're just doing it like as a stance of like to show, just like to intimidate Ukraine. And then, when I woke up that morning, I didn't check the news or anything. I just went straight to the gym, and the guy who owns the gym was like, "Have you seen what's happened in Ukraine? Russia just invaded it." The first thing I said to him was like, "For fuck's sake, it's one thing after another. We just come out of lockdown, and now this is happening."
It makes it sound too perfect of a plan.
Yeah.
Because it's like what? I forgot his name. Joey. What's his surname? Oh, he was on Joey. Not Joey Diaz. The other one.
I was thinking, you're not talking about Joey Diaz here.
What's his name? The conspiracy theory guy.
Oh, Eddie Bravo.
Oh, Eddie. Where did I get Joey from?
I'm thinking of Joey Diaz outside.
Yeah, he was saying because he actually talked a lot of what I thought was sense around the Great Reset, and he was saying everything that you're looking at now is just pumping the masses with fear. That's all they're doing for the next couple of months, is just pumping us with fear. We're scared to death about a cold winter. We're scared about nuclear war. Scared about unemployment if it rises. Scared about what the pound's doing in comparison to the dollar.
And then we're just gonna have to look to the government to help save us.
After coming out of being shit scared of COVID, it's just everything's just fear based, and then then we're gonna have to look for the government or whoever's in power then to say we can help. And it's scary shit, man.
This is why we shouldn't worry about things that are outside of our control.
Yeah, that's true.
And just keep thinking that.
Yeah, just relax a bit. But it is mad what they're doing, because it is fear-based, because even if you look at free speech, it's not really free speech anymore, is it? Because you can... Certain people on certain channels are scared to say things. So it's another fear thing, because you're scared to dead name someone, or you're scared to say it how it is. You know, all these people, they're scared of losing their jobs if they agree to the fact that there's only two genders, male and female. Saying that me saying this now means I could get fired potentially from my job. That's fear.
Yeah.
Scared of the truth.
Everything that we're looking at, the culture war, the economy, everything is just pointing to a collapse for something else to take its place.
Yeah, a full collapse of the structure that's in place.
Yeah, and then you took, and then you're listening to the WF speak, and they've already got a plan to replace what our current society, current economy, current culture, replace everything with their ideology.
Yeah.
So, and these are like the most powerful people in the world. Openly talking about their plan whilst we're watching society around us collapse.
Yeah.
It's so fucking obvious what's going on.
But no one.
Obvious, but you talk to people about it and you think you're a nut job.
Yeah, it's like you were saying about someone that we both know. I hadn't even heard of it. Someone that's clued up on the way things go. I haven't even heard of it. But
yeah.
And then they do think you're a nut job. Like I think we were saying in the last podcast as well. But this whole agenda that they're pushing, even if you don't know about it, you know that agenda's being pushed on everyone because BlackRock are sort of the finance department of the Great Reset, let's say. They're the ones that are saying to Netflix, "Oh, we won't fund you anymore if you don't put this type of content on your platform."
Yeah.
Everyone fucking watches Netflix. Well, majority of people watch Netflix.
Because I watched Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart movie.
Get Hard.
No.
No, that's with Will Ferrell, I think.
Man Time, I think it's called.
Right.
It was so fucking shit. Like, awful. And it was just all...
Me Time.
Yeah, Me Time, yeah.
Yeah, it's got 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. What the fuck?
It was awful.
How does something with them two... Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Hart, 6% on Rotten?
This is what I was shocked about, because usually I like Mark Wahlberg. And Emma likes Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart so far. It's got Mark Wahlberg in, I'll give it a watch.
Bit of balance.
It was so fucking just... You could see like it was just all these just random bits of political ideology just being implemented in there for no reason. Have you ever watched a movie like that?
Well, you see it well, not everything. You see it in so many things. You're just casually watching something, and it's so forced that they've had to put a gay scene in it, or put this thing in there, or this in there, and it's, for example, I forgot what it. Well, on a podcast, I was talking about it where they're saying it's not about, for example, the new James Bond anymore. It's going to be a new black James Bond. Why do you have to say it has to be a black James Bond? If it's going to be a gay James Bond, or if it's going to be a trans James Bond, just have a new James Bond. But yeah, what I was saying then is I'm watching things and they're just forcing. It is forced because I was watching a series and I was enjoying it. I think it was sort of like a sitcom, but not really a sitcom. It's one of them half an hour episode things you can just smash through it. I think there was 4 seasons of it. The new season came out. So I was watching it, loving season 1, loving season 2, then season 3. And then there was a big gap between season 3 and season 4. So I rewatched it all. And then that jump from season 3, which came out, must be about 5-6 years ago, to this. It's like this one straight in, first opening scene, the girl, the daughter in it, she's grown up and she's a lesbian now. Straight into that. Like, this is a bang on comparison of where shit was to what has to be in every single piece of content that people consume now.
I notice it so much now. And like back in the day when you would watch like a sitcom or something and it'd have something like what you'd define as woke, now,
Yeah.
it feels like it fit right and it was written properly. Now, I feel like it just makes someone a lesbian for just
Yeah.
because they want to do it.
Yeah. We can't not have that in there. Sort of.
Yeah. Whereas it doesn't really add anything to the story. It's just
Yeah.
and it's now like when I see that stuff, I don't know. I just get like I just feel like to be fair with you, even if they had it in and it was written well, I wouldn't be that bothered. But because they got it in and most of it's just like shit TV or shit for movie,
Yeah.
I just get pissed off now. Like it's movies have gone so shit.
Yeah, Disney are like balls deep in it as well, aren't they? Because Disney, obviously, let's say from the Marvel angle, I think I was saying it to you on the phone,
Yeah.
was looking through them. And then if you go to the back ones, obviously you've got She-Hulk, which had a lot of criticism around it. But then even if you go back to Black Panther, that's where this sort of woke culture started coming in.
Yeah, when was that? Like 2018?
Something like that. And I feel like Disney are like the within the entertainment side of things, they're pulling the agenda across the most.
Yeah, definitely. It's happening all over Hollywood though, but Disney are pushing it probably the hardest.
Yeah, 2018.
Because did you ever see that trailer? Well, I think it came out last year. I think it's a HBO thing that Seth Rogen wrote. It's a cartoon about Santa, and I think she was an elf. So one of the elves was a girl, and she was like basically they made out Santa to be like just like a old white male who's, do you know what I'm trying to say here? They made Santa out to be like one of them. Do you know when people say old white male or middle-aged white man? They made him out to be like that.
Stereotypical.
Yeah, stereotypical. And this girl was like basically going against Santa to try and be the next Santa. But it was just full of like woke jokes and stuff. And
Seth Rogen wrote that.
yeah, and the amount of this was before the dislikes button. Like, literally, I think it was just before the dislikes button got taken down.
Oh, so it was a while back then this came out.
Yeah, Christmas time last year.
Oh, right.
So it was like, yeah, I think he got like, I think when I saw it, it had 40,000 dislikes. No, 400,000 dislikes, I think.
Oh, shit.
I think just Google it, Santa Inc. YouTube
Yeah,
dislikes.
I got it, Santa Inc. Oh, YouTube dislikes.
Yeah.
A 1,000K dislikes.
1,000K.
Yeah.
So that's like a million.
Joe Rogan says, fuck your Christmas. Not Joe Rogan. Seth Rogen.
Yeah, okay.
27K. 3% audience score. I can't believe Seth Rogen did that, though.
I was shocked. But then when I thought back to... So during the first Bad Neighbours came out...
Oh, yeah.
I thought, yeah, it was all right. Like, it was all right. Nothing amazing, but watchable.
Yeah.
The second one came out, it was fucking awful. It was so like just.
It was ridiculous, that second
You
one.
had to make it really woke.
Yeah.
At the time, I don't think I realised 100% what it was.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I remember watching it thinking, there's a reason why I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put my finger on what it was. Because I wasn't really clued up with wokeness at that point in maths.
Yeah, neither was I.
It came out in 2014, that second one.
2014, yeah. Because I remember watching it.
Yeah, 2014. 2016, sorry.
2016.
And that's when they went, yeah. I remember watching it and I couldn't pinpoint what it was. But this is Seth Rogen who's done Knocked Up.
Yeah, Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express. The Interview.
Yeah, like actual good movies.
40-Year-Old Virgin. But these, Zack and Miri Make a Porno, these are like anti-woke in a sense. If these were to come out now, they would get...
But I think Seth Rogen's a good person to sort of look at and think where has the left wing gone? Because I think Seth Rogen's always had left wing humor. Because he's always been like pro weed, and he's always had that a bit. He's always been left wing. I wouldn't say he was ever right wing.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah.
So to see Seth Rogen's progression with his movies, he's gone from writing Pineapple Express. Did he write 40-Year-Old Virgin? I think he did.
I don't know. I reckon Steve Carell writes, and I reckon he would have wrote that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying though. It's a perfect. Yeah, Steve Carell wrote it, and Judd Apatow. Paul Rudd. But yeah, I get what you're saying about Seth Rogen. That when we say like the line of the left's moved,
Yeah.
his films have gone into that, or whichever one.
His films have kept up with the line.
Yeah, that perfectly.
Yeah.
As the line moves, his film moves.
Because for the past, before I started looking into all this like political ideologies, without me even like being conscious of it, I could see something was changing, like where the left wing was like falling out of line with me.
Right. Yeah.
So I used to think. Then I started thinking to myself, well, maybe I'm not left wing. Maybe I'm. But this is like at a time where like, I was still trying to find myself. Like growing up, you don't really know much about politics. Like you're still figuring it all out.
Yeah, you don't know where you fit in that political system.
Whereas when I think back now, I'm probably. I wouldn't say I'm fully right wing. Like if you go back to 2010 onwards, like 2010 around that time, I'd probably say I fall more in line with like the left wing kind of ideology then. But now it's just gone so far.
Now it's completely different anyway, because what we're doing with like this channel, for example, we're not really following the narrative of follow left or follow right. We're looking
but you've got like certain things that you agree with.
Yeah, that you fall more into plays with. But
I think there's certain things on the left that I believe, and certain things on the right that I believe in.
But I mean, if you look at Superbad, for example.
Oh yes, Seth Rogen wrote that, didn't he?
Yeah, would you say that's left-wing media back then? Left-wing content? Because there's a scene where...
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's right-wing.
I don't know what wing you would... I don't think it's a wing. But the problem is, if these were to come out today, everyone in there would get cancelled. So you get like Jonah Hill, he'll be cancelled. Fucking McLovin. But there's a scene in there where that woman wipes a period on his leg.
Yeah.
Shit, well, that can't come out.
At the time, I'd say that's a left-wing kind of joke, because a right-winger wouldn't find that funny because they're quite conservative, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like traditionally, people like right wings are conservative, so they wouldn't find that. A left wing person would find that funny.
Yeah. Well, because the left has evolved into what it's evolved to. It's like instead of having that scene, they will instead put a transsexual scene in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I get you.
Whereas back then, even now, like I still think that's funny, but you get considered like a bigot or whatever if you laugh at that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But other people must have found it funny as well. Well, that's why it's come out. That's why they released it and it got so popular.
Yeah. Well, people obviously still find it funny. I was having this argument with my mate that like, name me a good comedy that's come out since Hangover.
Yeah, I think you've said this to me as well.
Or a comedy that's been better than Hangover since Hangover came out.
Yeah. Hangover trilogy or just number one?
Number one, because the other two, like the second one was still good, but not as good as number one.
And you won't put me time in there now?
No, that's probably the worst film I've ever watched. And worst film I've ever watched and sat through the full thing.
Did you watch it all? Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of it I was like, what the fuck? I thought it was going to be like one of them movies you can put on a Sunday. Like you don't expect massive amount from, but you expect a few laughs and a few like at least a decent performance from Mark Wahlberg, but it was shit.
Yeah.
Everything was shit. It was like Mark Wahlberg didn't even want to do it.
Yeah. Well, he just wants a payday, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's the other problem. These guys just want to get paid, man. Well, what did you think of? I've just got it up here. The new Borat when that came out.
I've not watched it.
You not watched the new Borat?
No, is it good?
You need to watch it. I don't know how to take it.
I don't like watching
you've not watched
movies.
it though.
I don't like watching movies where they should have just left it.
Yeah, they probably should have just left
It
it.
ruins the first one, I think, as well. I don't know why. I just think.
Nah, the first one's still fucking.
Yeah. But it does kind of like put like a downer on it. I'd rather just like know how good Borat was and just leave it like that.
Yeah.
That time's gone now.
Yeah. That's in the past. That's way gone in the past. He's probably Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get someone like that ever again, ever.
No.
Shit, man. He was brave.
Yeah. Imagine if there's someone that brave now. I think if someone like Sacha Baron Cohen came out and did a YouTube channel, they would blow.
Oh yeah, be popular.
People are dying for that kind of humor.
Yeah, we need that back.
Yeah.
But then obviously he's a comedian. Comedians are having a tough time, aren't they?
I think Joe Rogan's helping a lot of comedians.
Yeah. We can't allow that side of entertainment to die, and it's dying. So it's like, I know Joe Rogan blew up because of his podcast, probably more than his comedy. He's blown up because of his podcast. But it's a good fucking job that he does comedy as well, because he's keeping that side. If he wasn't, imagine Joe Rogan, it blow up, or imagine if Joe Rogan blew up and he wasn't in the comedy scene, that whole industry would be half dead by now.
Yeah, it's like Andrew Schulz is only as big as he is because of Rogan.
Yeah.
And he's blown up on YouTube. He's done a lot himself. Like, I'm not taking that away from him, but if Rogan didn't give him the initial platform, he wouldn't have been able to turn his channel into what it is now. Plus, I think he had a deal with, I don't know who it was. I don't think he said who it was with, and they told him to take some jokes out of his new special. And basically said, "Fuck you, then, like, you're not getting my special," and he sold it himself.
Oh yeah, he put it out himself on his own, didn't he? Independently. Yeah, I think I heard that. He said that on Rogan's podcast, didn't he?
Yeah, he said it on Flagrant as well. But I'm gonna buy it just to support the cause. And honestly, I don't know if he's using that as a marketing tool for him.
I don't know. I reckon that sounds about right.
But
telling him to take jokes out of his set.
Yeah. But I'm going to, I'm going to buy it. I think he's released the full thing on YouTube as well, but I was just going to buy it anyway. Give him a bit of dough.
Did you watch Bill Burr's new stand-up?
No, I've not watched it yet.
All right, that's good.
Why?
It's just good to know that people are not falling for this shit.
What do you mean? Oh, his stand-up's good.
Yeah, his Bill Burr's new stand-up.
I thought you meant, I said, have you watched it? And I said no, and you went, I thought you said that's good. I was like, why is it good that I've not watched it?
Oh, that's good. That is good. It's worth a watch. Right.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Right.
I think Bill Burr is like 100% himself. He was on what's that podcast called with the two guys from UK?
Trigonometry.
Yeah, Trigonometry. He was on Trigonometry.
Was he Bill Burr?
Yeah.
I watched the one with Theo Von on.
Oh, he's on Trigonometry, Theo Von.
Theo Von. He's fucking sick on podcasts. He's got that quick, I love his humour.
Yeah.
That quick-witted, like, dry, stupid, like, funny as fuck, like, quick one-liners after someone says something.
Well, I was listening to that, what's it called again? Trigonometry with Bill Burr. Bill Burr was like, I couldn't be asked doing it the whole way through. Watch it. It's weird. But he's just himself. Like, he's not even bothered about any political. Because they were asking him like questions about politics and stuff, and he was just like, "I can't be asked with this." So he's just like,
because they go proper deep, don't they?
Yeah, I think they got the wrong person on to do it.
Oh, right. I kind of felt like Theo Von didn't really fit in that conversation, but because it's Theo Von, he makes a bad situation good just by the shit he comes out with.
Yeah. Whereas Bill Burr was just like, he was like slouched down in his chair. When you watch it, you'll see what I mean.
But on the Theo Von episode, they just came from Rogan. I think Theo Von just did Rogan's, and then they were there, and they were both high as fuck.
All right, yeah.
And then Theo Von, like, because they're not used to smoking weed, Theo Von was fucking with the Reds in the beginning for ages, throughout the good 10 minutes of the beginning.
Yeah, I forgot they smoked weed on Rogan's thing. I'll watch that one, the Theo Von one.
Yeah, I love Theo Von. I've grown to like him more because he's actually quite switched on as well. He had Jordan Peterson on his podcast, didn't
he? Did he?
Yeah, he's had Jordan Peterson on his own podcast.
All right.
He's quite switched on, I think.
I've only watched him on Rogan. I've never seen his stand-up or his own podcast.
Oh, watch his own podcast. It's well funny.
Is it? I'll give it one.
He makes Jordan Peterson laugh his head off.
Does he?
Yeah. I've never even seen Jordan Peterson.
I've never seen Jordan Peterson laugh either.
He usually laughs sarcastically.
Have you ever watched Rogan stand-up?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's not really my humour. I think it's more... There's only certain Americans I can find funny.
Because I've never found him funny on the podcast, so I thought there's no point in watching his stand-up.
Yeah. I think what he's good at is how he's smart enough to... Because it's about joke creation, isn't it, stand-up?
Yeah.
I think he's good at creating jokes, whereas I like more... Obviously, I like a good joke, but I like the sort of British way of humour. Do you like the Ricky Gervais style?
Yeah, more like the content.
Yeah, where it's just really deep, dark, nasty.
So his is more like technical.
Technical, yeah, that's the right word.
Yeah, because I said a joke the other day, and it was a shit joke. Well, but because the way I said it, like, it made everyone laugh, and then you're all like, "It was a shit joke." I don't know why I'm laughing, and then they're like, "I think it's because he paused." Because before I said the punchline, I paused for ages, and everyone was like, "Wait for me to say it." It was just a shit joke, and then everyone was laughing because it was shit. When they said it was the pause, I didn't do it on purpose, but I was thinking back to the Joe Rogan podcast with when they're talking about the technicalities of jokes,
timing and all that.
Yeah, timing. That's when it made me think back to that. That's why they laughed.
Yeah, timing. Because you've been watching Kill Tony, haven't you?
I watched one with who was on it? It might be Theo Von on it, actually.
Maybe. I've watched a few of them. Do you know Sean Gillis?
Yeah.
Do you know when he did that? He did the Parks episode on Joe Rogan, and then the episode where Ori got smashed when they were trying to go beer for beer. After that, he went to Kill Tony.
I think they were all supposed to go with Ari as well.
Oh, really?
Because I think they said that in the podcast. They got Kill Tony after this.
And he went and he shredded on Kill Tony.
Did he?
Yeah.
He's like, do you know, every time he goes on Rogan, he's a bit like calm and collected at first. Then he's up like 4 Bud Lights, and then he starts being proper cunt when he's funny.
He's one of them guys that you want to go out to the pub with.
His Trump impression's well good.
You can only say certain things though, can't you?
Yeah.
Should we wrap up another article?
Yeah, go on.
What do you want, light or deep?
We go deep. We've been talking quite light. We just went deep and then we went light all of a sudden.
Very light. I'm gonna bring it back to deepness.
All right. So Bill Gates says political polarization. I can't fucking talk today. Bill Gates says political polarization may bring it all to an end and could even lead to a civil war. So basically, Bill Gates is predicting that there's going to be a civil war in America.
I'll take it down.
If you scroll down, I think it's got his actual quote that he said. Here, I admit that political polarization may bring it all to an end. We're going to have a hung election and a civil war. So he's, in the headline, they've used the word could, but he's not used the word could. He said we're going to.
We're going to have, yeah.
So, which I think is like quite strong word to use. You can take it down now if you want. We'll just talk about it. But obviously, you know about Bill Gates being in the WEF and being fucking powerful geezer.
Yeah.
He was involved with the pandemic and all that shit, and now he's predicting a civil war in the US.
Well, yeah, he went from building Microsoft, so a head of a tech company, to being the lead on the world's health. And now he's, well, whatever you would put this category in, politician now, I guess.
But that is sort of, when I read it, I thought, what is this what the World Economic Forum want?
This was what we've said. I think we said it on our China episode. Civil war is brewing in the West. And for him to say that makes us, like we were saying earlier, or I was saying earlier, that everything that's going on in the world at the moment, it all seems to be pointing to this great reset. What does it mean for civil war? Is that just another way to speed up this great reset?
So, what could potentially cause it is when the next election in America, when the public are going out to vote, they're going to bump into the left wing will bump into the right wing, and I reckon you'll see loads of arguments and fights at polling stations.
Yeah. When is the next election?
When was he elected? 2020?
2020, I think.
Was it 2021? 2020, I think he got into power in 2021.
2021. Yeah, well, yeah. So Jan 21, he started his.
So the next one will be 2024?
Yeah, at the end of 2024, won't it?
Yeah, I think it's November. So, which, from all my research and your research as well, and talking to people, it kind of falls in line with everyone, the people I've spoke to as well. They're thinking that 2025 is when things are going to start being implemented.
Yeah,
properly from for the Great Reset.
Yeah, they're just. I think, what did I message you saying before? They've been moving their pieces. It's like they're playing chess, and they've been moving their pieces for a while now. But these next 2-3 years, they're gonna finish their game.
Yeah, and that's why they're so confidently talking about everything.
But they must, because it's obviously been a conspiracy theory where it's not been. That's when it was. Everyone was like, "Oh, is it happening? Is it not happening?" It hadn't been set in stone. They hadn't got the foundations. Maybe they hadn't got the right people involved in the thing, which they've got today. They must have been doing this for ages. But as soon as there must have been a turning point to say, right, everything's ready. Because if there is a big pushback against it, which obviously there fucking isn't really, then they must have been in a fit position to say, if we release it all now and there is a big pushback, we're too far ahead for anything to get turned around. So
Yeah.
with all of this that's happening with the Civil War and all that stuff, that's only playing into their hands. They probably want that. They're probably annoyed that there wasn't more of a pushback with all of the shit that they're putting out.
Yeah. Well, there's been like there is some pushback, but not nowhere near the amount there really should be. And what kind of makes me think about is how back in the day it was just considered a conspiracy theory. Do you think they purposely leaked bits of information out so people would just think it's a conspiracy theory? For when they actually do it, people just write it off as conspiracy theory.
The situation which you was explaining that we're in today, for example.
Yeah. So like now when you talk to somebody on the street who's probably heard about this because like they would have heard about global agendas and things like that because we're all at an age now where you know somebody who you probably might have thought was a bit loopy back in the day talking about it. For now, like for us going up to somebody, they are just relating it to that loopy person that spoke to me 10 years ago about this.
Yeah.
It's just talking the same garbage.
Yeah. They have that perception that that's mad talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they've still got 10 years on is like, oh, keep away from that conversation. Because I don't want to be perceived in the way I perceive that guy back then.
And this was like, at first, I was a bit worried about talking to people about it because I didn't want that perception of me being a nut job.
Yeah.
But now I just thought, I think, fuck it.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that because if they did plan this out a long time ago as a conspiracy theory, then it's just a big perception game, isn't it? Do you know, like I was explaining to you that time about the two circles, one was red and one was blue?
Yeah.
And the guy, well, basically what happened was there were two circles, one red, one blue. This guy got them on a screen in front of the class, and he said to the class, one's bigger than the other. Put your hand up if you think it's red. Put your hand up if you think it's blue. Then half of them put it up for blue, the other half put it up for red. And he said, put your hand up if you don't think it's any, and no one put the hand up. And he said, they're both the same size. You just believe me from that one sentence. So think about what like, the global superpowers are able to do just with the mass amounts of media control that they have on you. So it's all just a massive game of perception to these lot. Whatever they can make us as people perceive then sticks as truth. Like I don't know who is trying to push the perception that there's infinite amount of genders. People are obviously believing that, they're latching onto it. So perception. There's not. Scientifically, there's only two. And in common sense, there's only two as well. But because they've been sort of brainwashed into thinking there's infinite, they now go ahead and believe it, and they're big advocates for that as well.
Yeah. It's all a massive game of perception and just manipulating human psychology.
Yeah.
They don't want people to think critically because they just want people to think what they tell them.
Yeah.
And it's the people that are thinking critically who it's their jobs to sort of make the other people aware. And it's a hard job, I think, because why would somebody trust? Like, I'm saying it from like their perspective. Why they would think, why would I trust you over BBC or CNN or whatever?
Yeah, it's a hard job because you're trying to influence or like that herd. They've got that herd mentality. So let's say, for example, us doing this channel, we're part of a small group of people who are on this pushback. But when you go to someone who follows BBC, they're part of the herd. So when we say, for example, no, this is actually false and this is right, they'll be like, well, there's only like 7 or 8 people that I can see that listen to you, whereas there's 70,000 people that listen to them, so they must be right.
Yeah.
and then they just jump on, and then everyone else would just be like, no, we've got to go with these lot because everyone else is following them, so they must be right. But then it comes to a thing as well where people are too fucking lazy to think for themselves as well. Um, so I mean, I've talked about it before, like the ego being a massive, massive thing is probably one of the biggest things that plays a role in anyone's life is ego and how you balance your ego because everyone's got one. These people who are, I'm not going to say they're dumb because they're not necessarily dumb, but they just don't want to think too hard or too outside the box or critically think as you said. But then you've got people on the other side who are trying to push back and critically think about what's going on. And but like we said, we're putting all these pieces together and we still can't understand what the fuck's going on. But we're trying to think and sort of figure it out rather than just listening to what we're told.
Yeah.
So these people who listen to what they're told, they're not critically thinking. They're not working on their ego. Their ego controls their life. So when you try and say you're wrong, they're not well equipped enough to say, "Oh, actually, I might be." They're not open-minded enough because their ego's telling them they're right. Whereas people on the side of what we're doing, for example, we've kind of like set ourselves apart in the sense that we critically think about things. So if someone says it could be this, then we'll be like, hold on, let's have a think about it. Let's see what are the reasons for that, what are the reasons against it, and sort of weigh up that way. We won't just be like, no, it's wrong. This is what we're doing. Like we were saying about you wanting to find someone who's pro the Great Reset, so you can actually understand what their thought process is behind why it would be good, because we can only see the negatives from it.
Yeah, exactly. Like we want to try and understand both sides of the story.
Yeah,
that's the only way you can try and figure out what the hell is the truth. If you don't understand both sides of the story, you can't find your own truth. Because I don't know what, like, nobody knows what the truth actually is. But you can try and work it out. And if you've only got one side of the story, you're only hearing one. You think that's the truth and that's it.
Yeah.
But if you don't listen to the other side of the story, you're never gonna be able to find the truth out for yourself, whatever you think the truth is.
Yeah.
Because you only understand, it's very lopsided the way you're thinking.
Yeah, you're just believing someone else's truth.
Mm.
And then it comes back to that when you look at things like how easy it is to change someone's perception of something just from a simple sentence. Like, imagine that happening, how it's happening, like, millionfold.
Yeah.
With everything.
But as well, like, I don't really try and push shit, what I'm thinking on people. I would rather ask them if they've heard of it. If they've not, maybe give them a bit of a background on it. And if they want to go research a bit further, they can go do that. It's up to them then. You've sort of given them a little bit of bread and they can go find the full loaf.
Yeah.
If they want that.
Yeah.
If not, then that's their own choice. Like if they choose to just do the easy thing and click on the BBC News app and read that, then that's their choice. But if they want to dig a bit deeper, then it takes a bit more time.
Yeah.
I was talking to my mate about it, and he was like, "Do you think people just don't have the time to do it?"
Would you say time, or would you say the attention span?
Yeah, I'd say. Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I don't think it's the time. Everybody has time, same amount of time. Some people might be a little bit busier than others, but I'm sure they still sit down in the evenings and watch TV, or sit down in the evenings and play Candy Crush or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, why not utilize that time to try and figure shit out?
Yeah.
Or just do a little bit of looking at alternative sources of media rather than just sticking on the news at 10.
Good plug.
It's
a good name, that, actually. Yeah, no, it makes sense. They think they're too busy, so as long as I watch news at 10, then I'm equipped.
And do you know something? Why I think I've gone down this path as well is I've always been against watching the news at 10, or I've used to read like the BBC and FT. I read them now because I feel like you get sort of a understanding of what the mainstream narrative is.
Yeah.
And you get some news in there. It's not all like just fucking
Yeah.
But before, when I didn't really used to keep up to date much on the news and stuff. I used to think, oh, if it's important enough, someone will tell me about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I never used to really watch the news because I always found it like, I don't know, just a bit
Depressing.
negative and it gets you in a bad mood. But I don't know what changed. I think it was maybe during lockdown.
COVID definitely, yeah. I'll take from my side. COVID definitely had a big thing because that was when you just sort of forced at home. I think, yeah, actually, COVID, because forced at home, you sort of forced to watch the news in a sense because of new things come out, which you have this fear in you, this like the sense of the unknown, the fear of the unknown, and then you sort of forced to watch the news because you're like, "Whoa, what's happening? How many deaths?" Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Just checking how many deaths, and then they get to a point where it's like, I'm actually sick of this. I can't fucking watch it anymore. So you turn it off, and then you got nothing else to do, so you just start looking at alternative things.
Yeah. I think, yeah, like during lockdown, I was listening to like Rogan a lockdown as well.
Rogan's definitely out.
That probably changed my thinking about the news because he was getting all sorts of guests on and they all had different opinions, whereas we were just hearing one opinion.
Mm.
So that started changing the way I think. And then Russell Brand, he's obviously got his opinion. And then, yeah, then we set up Alternative, and this year probably fucking changed my like perception tenfold on on the world.
Yeah, because the way we set up Alternative, actually, it's a good sort of chronological order there, where we started listening to Joe Rogan more guests came on, giving different opinions. Then we start going on their channels, listening to a bit more of their opinion. Go back to Joe Rogan, someone else has a different opinion, like, shit, let's go and check out that one. So then you listen to that guest on his opinion a bit more on his own channel. And then we started having conversations about different tangents that we've gone on with different people and what they're saying. And then, yeah, we started having conversations like we have on the podcast anyway. But let's have these conversations, record them, and hopefully other people can benefit from them.
But we've always been like quite deep thinkers anyway, so
yeah,
I think
good way to vent.
Yeah, like it's worked out well.
All right, do you want the last one?
Yeah, go on.
Light or heavy?
Keep it light. Last one.
Yeah, so I'll put this one. So this is basically the new Logitech Cloud Gaming portable handset. I thought I'd bring this in because we don't really cover. Recently, we've not covered a lot of tech because of the state of the world, but there are good things, and this is the future of portable gaming.
Oh, it's well good. So you can stream like Grand Theft Auto and stuff.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. Yeah, libraries of Blockbusters games. I don't know what it runs off though. Like what software? Like what?
Cloud requires a subscription, so I don't think it'll be Android.
Oh, Cloud requires a subscription sold separately to work as intended. So yeah, it'll just be Logitech's own software, and then you'll be able to download GeForce Now app or the Xbox Game Pass app.
Essentially, it's just a tablet
that's got controls.
Controls on you.
But it's built for gaming.
Yeah.
But yeah,
decent price as well.
It's a good price, isn't it? $299. I've got a Switch in it, so I'm gonna sell it on Marketplace, and probably just get one of these instead of it. Just cloud game it all the way.
Look, what's the specs?
Octa-core CPU, 2.3 gigahertz. It's not too bad, but it's not gonna be streaming though, isn't it? It's not gonna be running nothing.
Yeah. Now, does that have like expandable memory and stuff?
It's got 60 hertz screen, 7-inch IPS, so the colours will be nice. Headphone jack. Don't see them often. Bluetooth, USB-C, controls, linear haptics. I don't know what that is, but some sort of vibration, isn't it?
Yeah, looks good. Yeah, it's got a micro SD slot, so you can put
Extended. Well, you're going to be on the
Emulator.
cloud though.
Get an emulator.
You could probably stuff games on it though as well, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Download games onto it.
for when you're on the
Still Android
aeroplane and
11.
stuff.
What?
For when you're on an aeroplane.
Yeah.
Looks good, that.
In the box, you get power adapter, USB. Thing. Yeah.
What kind of internet connection will you need?
What?
How good will your internet connection need to be?
I don't know. Well, on my iPad, I did have Stadia on it. Just connected my Xbox or PlayStation controller to it. I didn't really want it. I just wanted to test cloud gaming, and my internet here is not the best because of the area I live in. Correct cables, but it ran smooth. MMO game. It ran with no problem.
What's that?
An MMO game ran with no problems.
What's MMO?
Massive multiplayer online, so
Oh, like Fortnite?
no, like World of Warcraft, which goes.
All
The
right.
servers are just stuffed full of thousands of players.
Oh, okay. What about like Red Dead Redemption 2?
I don't think that was available.
Oh, okay.
Try it. But you'll be able to play them without a problem on the Xbox Pass, Games Pass. It's cloud.
Yeah, no, I was just on about like streaming it to
All right.
through the internet.
Yeah, to keep the graphics.
Yeah.
I didn't try any AAA games. But it's one of them. I was a big gamer in my younger years. Kind of spiraled off gaming a bit.
Because I'm thinking when GTA 6 comes out, the best way for me to play that.
Yeah, when GTA 6 comes out, and probably, like, for example, if Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, I wouldn't want to play it on a portable device. I was going to play that in a more immersive way.
Yeah. If they release it on Xbox One, then I'll just get it on Xbox One.
Xbox Series S is on like £200, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then I'll just get that, or maybe get a PS5, see what happens. But I know that's the only reason I'll
Grand Theft Auto.
get a new console, just to play that.
Well, I mean, if cloud runs alright, you could just play it on your computer, couldn't you? If cloud gaming's bigger by that.
Yeah, I'll just be able to play it through my Xbox One.
Yeah.
You can stream games through there, can't you, through Xbox?
I've no idea.
You must be able to, like...
I sold my Xbox before cloud gaming was a thing.
Probably just do that. I'll see what happens.
The gaming industry's gone to shit, though, to be honest.
Why?
Because no one releases anything because microtransactions.
All right.
So whenever people do release things, because it's the same thing with who said it? An actor was talking about it. Oh, it was, and they were you know
Matt
what?
Damon.
Yeah, about why DVDs.
Yeah.
Because they don't do DVDs anymore, they don't make any money off. So, but DVDs, so they only make the money off the initial hit of a film. So they have to make more money in that box office weekend or whatever, then because they don't get the kickback on DVDs after it comes out of cinema because it'll just go onto Netflix.
How does that work with games though?
Because the problem with games is like back in the day when we had like a PS2 or something, it wasn't connected to the internet. They could release a game with, and you couldn't update it or anything. So that product was the finished thing. So they had to put time and effort to make it really good. Whereas now it's like you just
Now
give
you
them
got like
anything.
Grand Theft Auto, and it just keeps having updates every
Yeah, just keep
all the
updating and keep
time.
milking the game out, milking the game out. Because there's no point. What in their mind? What's the point in making a new game when I can just keep sweating this? And
Yeah,
what GTA found is this is what I was thinking about the other day. Is this is why GTA's been out for so long? Is because say when did it come out? Right, 2013. Oh, that's like nearly
that's 10 years.
10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I was 16. So I was playing it, I was loving it. Then I was like, it's getting a bit fucking boring. This as I get older, but younger people get older, and then they're like, oh, let's jump on GTA. Like my older brother used to play it. Let's play it. Let's play it. And they're like, well, fucking hell, this is like getting a bit dry. So then they jump off it. But then the next generation come up, and they're like, let's go on GTA. So it's just
Yeah,
like more and more generations keep going onto it, spending money, and then when they get sick of it because they realise it's a massive scam, they stop playing it. But then the next generation come up and chuck more money at it because they don't realise it's a scam because it's a learning curve for
yeah.
as they get older.
And then we never saw any DLCs or anything for GTA
No.
5.
So they thought, well, what's the point in actually
What's
making any new content when these lot are just it's new content for the new audience group that comes up that starts gaming for them. But then they've just let their reputation die out from diehard fans, like I would say we were for the
Yeah, but
series.
I'll still probably get GTA 6 now.
Everyone still get it.
The leak has kind of changed my opinion on it as well.
Why?
'Cause I know, I just thought I thought it'd go in a quite a good, exciting way with it, doing like a Bonnie and Clyde
Yeah.
kind of style.
Male and female.
Yeah,
The actual, I know it's not finished on the leak, but it looks fun. It looks cool.
yeah. So I think it'd be a pretty good game.
Yeah, because they're redoing Vice City, whereas they redid San Andreas in the last one. It was good and exciting, but I feel like on the actual original San Andreas game, that world was already quite advanced for the time or whatever.
Yeah, like out of those 3 games, that was like the pinnacle.
Yeah,
And even when on GTA 4, like they took some features out, didn't they? That
yeah.
weren't in San Andreas, and then I was like, what the hell? Like, why can't I pick what clothes he's wearing?
Yeah,
Like you can pick what clothes he's wearing, but you can't choose like a different T-shirt to the trousers. You have
yeah.
to outfits.
It was all sort of preset still.
Yeah.
You couldn't, go and customize your car and
Mm.
flamethrowers and jetpacks and all that stuff. But GTA 4 was a story
Yeah, GTA 4 it was mainly for the story, innit?
immersion, yeah. So
Yeah.
between San Andreas and that world build to GTA 5, there's only a small amount of time in between them, realistically. Whereas the outer layer is GTA 6, which is Vice City, modern day Miami. Oh, yeah, modern day Miami, isn't it?
Yeah.
Versus game which was based on 80s Miami, but that was fucking from PS2 era, which was just not a complex world at all. So I feel it's going to be a massive step up.
Yeah. I think it'll be a sick game.
Yeah.
You reckon because the Vice City map was quite a small map, wasn't it?
Yeah.
GTA 4's map was pretty small in comparison to what they're doing now.
Yeah, GTA 5.
And Red Dead. Do you think they're gonna? Because people won't want to play on a small map now. I don't think after that.
Well, I think what they noticed from Red Dead was they did a huge map, but I was looking at it. I can't remember trying to find it, but basically what they did was they did this huge map, and then when you actually look at a heat map of players that online, there was a heat map of where they actually go on the map, and they all stay in quarters that was probably the size of Liberty City.
Okay.
So they don't really venture out that far out.
I think not San Andreas, GTA 5 was the perfect size map. Where
Yeah.
the problem with Red Dead as well, though, is you got to go over on a horse, so it takes fucking ages.
Yeah.
So to have a massive map and just go around the horse, like you can't be asked.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise you're just gonna be there for hours, like traveling.
Yeah.
But in GTA, you can just drive somewhere and be there in pretty quick.
Yeah, you could be at the bottom of the map and then to the top of the map in
Yeah.
5-10 minutes, if not.
So I think GTA 5 had a perfect size map, really, where you probably spend most of your time in and about like the city, and then sometimes go up and have a mess around
Yeah.
north of the map in like the desert stuff.
Mount Summit. There's that mountain, weren't there?
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. But do you think they'll get a bit of Florida in there? Like, because Miami's in Florida, isn't it? So you reckon they'll get like South Florida in it? The Everglades and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that wasn't in
Vice City.
Vice City at all, was it?
So I reckon they'll start incorporating some of that in it. Maybe a bit of Cuba, because Cuba's only across the thing.
Oh yeah, they could actually be quite creative with it, can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's all the Everglades. I'm just share my screen so everyone can see. So that's Miami there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everglades, and then you've got Fort Myers here. Yeah, Bahamas.
Bahamas, and then where's Cuba? I think Cuba's at the top there. Is that Cuba?
Cuba.
Cuba's closer to, I think, to
Cuba. Oh shit! Is
there?
Oh yeah, and Havana and shit, and they'll have a completely different feel to it going to Cuba, won't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. They must be doing this shit if it's taking them this long. The leak didn't contain the map, did it?
No.
That's the best leak I like when the map comes out. The Bermuda Triangle map, that it?
But do you reckon this will be the last Grand Theft Auto?
They say that, don't they? That this is just going to be it, and then they're just going to dump updates on it all the time.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't. As long as it's released GTA 6 and I played it, then I'm not bothered then.
I think with the way it's gone, obviously we're fans from like GTA London times. So with the way we had it, and then GTA 5 came out, which we were buzzing for. It's been 10 years. We've got 10 years older. Sort of lost faith in the company. Still waiting for GTA 6. I think GTA 6 will be good sort of, would you call it closure? Just to end my love for the series.
I think it would be perfect just to end it now. Like, don't make us wait another 10 years because I'll be fucking 40.
I think, just drop GTA 6. We'll play it. Let the fans who enjoy GTA play it, and then just kill the game like you've killed GTA 5 and just kill off the whole of Rockstar.
Yeah.
I think it with Red Dead Redemption 2 and then with GTA 6.
So I think the main thing is we wanted to see GTA 6 because we wanted to see Vice City in a HD.
Yeah.
Like on a HD map and
what they did with San Andreas and what they did with Liberty City.
So that would be a nice just way to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. The trilogy, like remastered basically, isn't it? In another sense.
Then you've got 3 stories there to play for the rest of your life if you want.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope they just stop the Grand Theft Auto series after that. It's like Fast and Furious. I'm a big fan of the first original 3. And then 4 came out, which was okay, but didn't have the same love for it. And 5 and 6 and 7. And it's like they've gone really, really shit. And then Paul Walker, what's his name? Yeah, Paul Walker. Died.
Yeah.
It was like, just kill the series off now. Like, just stop what you're doing. But they're still pumping them out like no one's business.
Are they still making them now?
Yeah, there's a new one coming out, I think.
Was there? Okay, well.
So there was Hobbs and Shaw. What do you remember? That was the last one.
I watched that Hobbs and Shaw. That was all right. It wasn't like Fast and Furious. It was like what's his name? Idris Elba was some weird villain in it.
I didn't watch. I don't think I've watched them after 6 or
I
7.
I think I watched 5 and then watched 6 and then stopped watching the series. And then I don't know why I watched this Hobbs and Shaw. I just
They're just on there.
thought it was a bit different, so I thought I'll see what it's about. 5's when they're in Brazil, and 6. Can't remember what happens in it. 6 when they go to Tokyo at the end.
6 is when Shaw comes into it, isn't it? Or Hobbs or whatever. Oh no, Shaw's not in this one.
Is 6 when Han dies at the end?
Yeah, I think so, because I think that was the last one I watched.
Yeah, that was the last
Because
one I
then
watched.
the timeline starts getting all cocked up in your head, doesn't it?
Yeah, because that's when it went back to Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. But yeah, they're releasing Fast and Furious 10 in 2020 next year.
Fucking 10.
Jeez.
They just found a cash cow and just milking it.
Literally milking it. And
I used to, when I was younger, I used to like The Rock because of wrestling. Then, do you remember that movie, Scorpion King?
yeah.
I think that's the first movie I watched with him in. And then when because he came into Fast and Furious in Fast and Furious 5, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then I fucking hated him because I thought he ruined Fast and Furious. Then I watched him in, what's it called, Pain and Gain.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought actually he's not a bad guy. I like him in that movie, he's well funny.
And then he did shit like
He does loads of weird movies though.
Jumanji. Oh, Welcome to the Jungle.
Hey, remember the first one with Stifler?
Yeah, that's the one I was on about. Is there another one?
Right. Yeah, they released the second one.
Oh, right. Is Stifler in the second one?
No, I don't think so.
What the fuck's his name? Because I only know him as Stifler.
Yeah, no. I think everyone only knows him as Stifler.
Oh, Sean William Scott. Fucking hell. That's sad, that, isn't it? What the hell happened to this guy? He was like iconic in my upbringing. He was in American Pies.
And he was in you remember that movie Evolution? You ever watch it? It was a proper shit movie. It's basically a fucking
Aliens.
Yeah, it was about it's like a Head and Shoulders advert because at the end they kill the aliens with like shitloads of Head and Shoulders.
Oh, like a product placement thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I do not remember this film. What the hell?
So at the end, like they're talking about some chemical that kills the alien. So then one of the guys is like, "Oh, Head and Shoulders have got this chemical in it."
Oh shit. 2001. That's a proper 2001 thing to do as well.
And they pump the alien with like shitloads of Head and Shoulders, and then it bursts and Head and Shoulders goes everywhere. The whole movie is like a Head and Shoulders advert.
I think I must have seen it, but I must have been really young because it does what you're saying does like.
Yeah,
And
I think you have seen it. We probably watched it together.
It was in Dude, Where's My Car? Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh yeah, Dude, Where's My Car was a movie.
Role Models was the last film I've seen him in.
Yeah, probably the same.
Road Trip. Well, he has been in some other films since, but I've just not watched them. Alright, should we end it? Because this is like.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks everyone for watching. Whoever made it to the end.
That's all, guys. See you later.
Please support. Please subscribe. Later.